Hey, Rachel.
Hey guys, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
Doing great. So
Good.
to start, I love, watching history things often can be boring, but when you add comedy characters that are off the rails, you're like, great, I'm so invested in the history that I'm watching. And
And it's very, very accurate as well. So that's good.
yeah, of course. Of course, there was a journalist who had one there and wrote this all down. But for you guys, what is the fun of getting to, exist in that world where you do get to bring comedy and like a different level to a history show? So you have like a time period on top of just getting to do outrageous things in comedy.
Yeah. I always like loved dressing up.
Yeah.
Like, so dressing up in period costume to do your job is like an absolute,
Dream.
I don't know why it's
It's
so,
the
it's just
dream. I
really
get it.
fun.
Yeah.
It's like you're a child again, like finding a dressing up box and being like, I'm a peasant from the 16th century. And yeah, I can't remember what the question was now. I've gone off on a flight of fancy.
It was amazing. It was what merging the kind of the period well, yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. Like the 1800s
Yeah.
kind of
1700s.
no,
Yeah.
1800s.
No, 1700s.
1800s.
Really? What?
I got it right. I'm glad we caught that as well. I'm
18th
glad we caught
century,
that.
1700s.
That was a nail moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, no, I think it was just merging the fact that it's like we've got those characters in that type of world. I just think it's really nice and amazing. The costume, the sets, the designs, the adventure, the horses. I love
yeah,
the horses.
so many horses.
The horses, and the fact that we can have swords, stuff.
Mhm.
It feels
You just
good.
feel like a sort of child again,
Yeah,
don't you, really?
yeah,
Like
100%.
arriving on set every day and being like, oh my God, we're in a castle. And like I'm just surrounded by like comedy heroes and people like that. So it's just, and you just get to have fun,
Yeah.
basically. That was just great.
Yeah, and it's too, I think, very funny. My favorite scene in that first episode is when he thinks his whole crew has already like shown up to save him, and it's just him waxing poetic because
Yeah.
they haven't. And so he's like trying to stall. But you guys do get to come in and have a very weird kind of badass action sequence
Yeah.
in the middle of all of this
Yeah.
comedy going on. Was that fun to get to add those also action elements on top of everything else that's being thrown at you guys?
It's certainly like a new thing for me, like getting a script that's like, okay, and now a carriage flips over and actually being able to see that in real time,
Yeah,
like on
see
set,
the
see that actually happening. The bringing together of like these two really exciting, like doing comedy, like I've always done has been, it's always such a privilege, but then to like be someone who's like wielding a gun and gets to shoot it and like running along like a dust track in the middle of the night and if like all of that kind of stuff, like bringing those two elements together, I think is so cool.
in the midst of something completely silly happening at the same
Yeah.
time. I think the merge of that is what makes it really unique and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a last quick question, you did say comedy legends. I do love that it just like slowly people keep popping up that I'm like, oh, he was in an episode of Doctor Who I watched. He was, the host of Taskmaster. Like getting
Yeah.
to see all these people just appear out of nowhere was really fun. Who for you guys was like the most exciting person that you got to see like come into a scene or be on set with?
I loved working with Jessica Hines and Tamsin Gregg,
Mhm.
who I've always admired, two like extremely funny women, who like, yeah, certainly aren't afraid to be silly, steal scenes, in a like in a world that's quite usually dominated by men. So they're absolute heroes of mine. So working with them was amazing.
Yeah, literally. For me, it's everyone. Noel Fielding, Ellie, Mark, Tamsin Gregg, Jessica Hines, Hugh Bonneville, Greg Davis. It's like, as a spectator, for me, it was like the Avengers assembling, like literally getting all the best characters and just putting them all in one piece. It was really, 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 really fun and exciting. Really,
Square.
yeah,
Really spread.
really square. Really
I love it.
square.
Now I'm just gonna picture Noel with like Mjolnir and the cap shield, and he's the one that gets to like will.
I think Duayne's the only one that actually would be able to do it. All the rest of us are incredibly unfit and like wheezing when we're doing stuff, and Duayne's like running circles around us doing like 100 squats.
I loved it. I loved it. Honestly, it feels like I felt like
Any
on the
opportunity to get your arms out.
I will do it. Yeah, I'll take it. It is the best feeling. I go to work hard and I want to execute it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for talking with me. I can't wait for people to get to see the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.